Moving on, guys, my thought of the week here this week, and I want to talk about a film I just saw yesterday, which Shane Hartline recommended to me, who was a guest a few shows back. Check out him on the archives. Great, talented guy. Called Social Dilemma, though, the show on Netflix. And if you listen to this show, I would like all of you to please just set aside a couple hours and watch this. And I don't think it's quite even a couple hours, but just set aside 2 hours if you can find the time. And it will be a real eye-opening experience. If it isn't already, if you listen to this show, I've talked about social media time and time again, because I can see, and I know from me using it with my business and habits in myself with it, and things that I've done that have helped me as far as turning off notifications, keeping the sound off, and taking time away from my phone, how much in deleting the social media apps off my phone, even if that too is further hurting my engagement, which if you watch this movie, you'll see just how crazy all this stuff is. And I'm not going to spoil anything as far as but it deals with the dangers of what's going on. And they have a lot of the former top people that were all responsible for the way that this is now, and interview them. And it's, the artificial intelligence is out of hand. And on top of it, the companies, the people that are running all these social media apps and in all of it, Google, everything. We've talked about there's a good way to make money and a bad way to make money. I think making money is a great thing. But it's not a great thing when you make money in a bad way. And what is going on with the technology and with all of us is not good. And this film is a great Austin Aries messaging me, which I don't think he's aware of the sound. I'm going to have to let him know. He just asked me for the video for the show. I'm going to have to tell him he didn't see the post. I put it was bad. The dangers of social media and what is going on, though. And I think with COVID and everything, and we see how people are reacting, and it just seems like we're like, when did this start going wrong? And if you watch this movie, you'll have a better understanding of what's going on how what one person is being shown on their phone isn't being shown to another person. And the technology, the really scary thing is the technology cannot decipher truth from lies. And what it does is it pushes out stuff based off what is making the most money, which is very scary, which is why there's more misinformation being pushed out than ever before. And oftentimes what's happening is somebody is being pushed misinformation at a massive level. So they're seeing so much of it that that misinformation is being confirmed to them that it's right, and they're right in their line of thinking. And it's causing a lot of chaos and tension in the world, and we're seeing it. And I really believe we have to become self-aware. It's up to us, because I think the technology exists now, and these companies are publicly traded companies. There's so much money on the line. And it's upsetting watching this, and all these people, they claim they did it was all for good. But if you know anything about, they did it because they made a shit ton of money. And then they made their money and they got out. And the problems are now somebody else's problems. And then these companies and the Zuckerbergs are saying, well, the AI, we could fix it ourselves. No, they can't. Nor are they going to. They only care about profits. The health of people is not their number one priority. And if it would have been, this would have been changed a long time ago. So it's up to us to understand that, yes, there's a lot of good that comes with these, but there's far more bad right now. And even guys like Gary Vaynerchuk that are promoting the fuck out of this stuff, he's heavily invested in this shit, guys. Okay? And that's a real problem. Because if you don't think that you can't see what's going on, you got to open your eyes. You got to see. And that's where I think getting away from the technology, taking breaks, and getting away and turning your sound off, which they recommend on the show, turning the sound off, turning notifications off. And even my phone, guys, by the way, I left my phone away for a couple hours during this. I had all new notifications that I hadn't even seen, like photos, Siri, sound for music. Hey, try downloading this song to get me back on the phone, which is everything that the movie talks about, how the AI is learning us, and that if we do take breaks from it, they try to get you to go back on it through another means, because it's all connected through all these big companies, and they're all making money in very similar ways. But it goes into the base stuff, like the algorithm. It's all bullshit. The algorithm isn't telling you what you like. The algorithm is giving them the information they need to make as much money as possible to keep us all on the platform as long as possible, whatever platform that may be. Which we all know it's very easy to get addicted to that, in which the longer and the more it takes us out of real life, which I'm always stressing, in living our lives, the more problems we're going to have. The more depressed people are going to be because they're not actually living a fulfilled, happy life. And it's a scary thing, because we're now dealing with kids that are grown up on it, and now in elementary school kids that are being raised on it. And now we're dealing with the generation, and it's going to be dealing with that in the next 10, 12 years, of kids that have grown up with it their whole lives. They don't know anything else, and it's a scary thing. We can only solve this problem individually by solving ourselves, by being self-aware and understanding that we have to control ourselves in ways. And again, I say when I say control ourselves, that if it's becoming a problem, and that if it's causing, if you're out rioting and doing, you got to look in the mirror and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Two cops are shot and struggling for their life, and there's crowds outside the hospital shouting for their death. I mean, you got to look in the mirror if you're part of that and go, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Because I promise you're not doing anything positive with your life if you're doing that. And that's where this stuff is. Again, COVID and everything, I think, exposed a lot of weaknesses in this, but the artificial intelligence is exposing human weaknesses more than anything. We joke and we talk about, we think the AI, Judgment Day, and Terminators. We don't even have to get to that point. The artificial intelligence is destroying us right now by exposing our weaknesses. Humans are going to kill each other far before there's Terminators or any sort of human robot or cybernetic organisms walking around. We don't even need that. Just look at what's going on in the hate and the anger and everything. And this is evolving at such a rapid rate, and our brains aren't. Our brains are the same, and they talk about that and that. But that's where self-awareness, self-development come in. Reading, learning about ourselves, not distracting ourselves constantly. The stuff is always going to be there. We'll always have the option. It's entertainment. And anyone like Gary that tries to tell you, well, all the newspapers, people said TVs or radios, TVs, and blah, blah, blah. Ain't none of that. None of that was learning us. None of that was learning us. This is learning us. It's an entirely different ballgame and conversation, and he's not being honest about it, and it pisses me off because he has a lot of people that follow him and that trust every word he says, and he's promoting this because he's invested in it, and that's dangerous. And I love Gary on a lot of things, but it's fucking bullshit on that front, and I'll say that to his fucking face. So be smart, guys. Be self-aware. You got to. Live life. But that's my thought of the week. Watch that movie, Social Dilemma. Thank you guys very much for watching this clip. And to watch full episodes of the Shooting Blanks Wrestling Report and conversation with the big guy Ryback, subscribe to patreon.com/Ryback for exclusive videos of both shows. And always remember, feed me more.